My wife, who despised exercising, fell in love with yoga. She proudly claimed, "Aren't you happy that I'm doing yoga?" Of course, I supported my wife's interests, until one day, I went to pick her up after class by chance and saw her and the male yoga instructor doing yoga completely naked. Standing outside the training room, my heart sank. I never expected my wife's yoga instructor to be a man. When she initially wanted to practice yoga, I only objected symbolically, considering she usually avoided any form of exercise. She convinced me by saying yoga would benefit our sex life and that it was to please me. So I reluctantly agreed, but I had imagined a female instructor. Seeing my wife engaging in intimate movements with another man in the training room made my blood boil. Just as I was about to burst in and stop them, my wife slipped and fell into the male instructor's arms. She lightly punched his chest full of muscles. "You did that on purpose." The instructor smirked. My wife stood up and asked the instructor, "Tell me, how many women have you used this trick on?" Hearing this, I was stunned. My heart went cold. She wasn't even angry, and she was flirting with the instructor. I felt a rush of betrayal, my fists clenched tightly. The instructor held my wife in his arms. "Mia, this is my job. I need to make a living." Mia pouted angrily. "Dirty thing, don't think you can come in without protection next time." At this moment, words couldn't describe my feelings. I looked around for something to use, wanting to beat these two scumbags, but then I thought better of it. Going in now would only result in a big fight, ending with me brawling with that man and eventually getting a divorce. Wouldn't that be too easy for them? I forced down my anger and called Mia. "Wife, are you almost done with your class?" "Almost. By the way, my distant cousin is in town and I want to treat him to dinner tonight." While talking, Mia mischievously glanced at the instructor. The instructor's expression changed dramatically. He pointed at himself, seemingly asking if she meant him. Mia nodded affirmatively, then made a gesture and continued. "Honey, can you prepare a few extra dishes tonight? And wine? And wine." The instructor mouthed virulently. Mia then instructed me, "Buy 2 bottles of good wine." I sneered. These scumbags really knew how to seek thrills. They wanted to provoke me in my own home. Fine, I immediately agreed. Leaving the gym, I went straight to the supermarket to buy wine. 2 bottles of good wine. I diluted 1 bottle with 80% water, greatly reducing its alcohol content. The other bottle I mixed with half a bottle of medical alcohol, prepared especially for her dear instructor. "So you love drinking? Huh, let's see if you can survive this." After preparing the wine, I bought a few pre-made dishes. "Think you deserve my cooking? Mia, you'll never have that chance again in your life. Watch how I play you both." Around 6:30 p.m., my wife returned with her so-called distant cousin. This distant cousin sure knew how to play the part, bringing a bag of cheap apples. "Honey, let me introduce you. This is my cousin Leo." "Oh, cousin, you didn't need to bring anything. Times must be tough for you." Mia and the male instructor were stunned by my words. They seemed to be wondering what hardship I was talking about. "Can't you see my designer clothes? Come on, don't just stand there, have a seat." I invited Leo to the couch and poured him a glass of cold water. "Leo, it's almost Qingming Festival. Why did you suddenly come to Viridia?" Leo was clearly caught off guard by my question and glanced at Mia. Mia quickly smoothed things over. "What does traveling have to do with holidays, honey? Can you ask something more relevant?" "You don't get it. Cousin's parents have passed away, and Qingming Festival is for visiting graves." The man nearly spat out the water he had just drunk. "What's wrong, Leo? Did I say something wrong?" He put on a pained expression and nodded stiffly. "Yes, I've already visited their graves in advance." "And what about your sister's rape case? Has that been resolved?" Leo slowly lifted his head, looking bewildered. Mia immediately interrupted. "Honey, you must be mistaken." I said, "Didn't you tell me about this?" Mia paused. "I was talking about a different cousin." "Oh," I nodded awkwardly. "Leo, it seems Mia miscommunicated." Leo's face had darkened, but he forced a smile and said it was fine. Then he asked if dinner was ready. He said he had never met me before and wanted to have a good drink tonight. I quickly got to work and took them to the kitchen. Since I usually focused on healthy eating, I had never bought pre-made dishes before. Today's sudden feast surprised Mia. "Honey, you did a great job. It's not every day cousin comes by, so I couldn't slack off. Come sit down. Cousin, make yourself comfortable." Leo sat opposite us, and I poured him a glass of the strong wine. Seeing this, Mia hurried to fill my glass as well. I smiled and said, 1 bottle per person. I opened the pre-prepared bottle of liquor and poured myself a glass. The first drink always has a story. I stood up with my glass and opened my phone's camera. Come on, honey, let's take a photo with Cousin Leo. We can get it printed and framed later. Mia and Elio laughed after hearing this. I could understand the deeper meaning in their smiles. Who else would willingly take a photo with the man who was cheating with his wife? Probably just me. Honey, this is a video, not a photo. I know. It's a video. We'll record first. Then we can capture the best moments as screenshots later. It saves us from taking multiple photos and interrupting our drinking. They both agreed it made sense and cooperated enthusiastically. The 3 of us squeezed into the frame. I loudly asked, Cousin Leo, aren't you handsome? Handsome, they both replied enthusiastically. They probably thought it was just like saying cheese for the camera. It's far more than that. When I catch them in the act, that cousin will mean much more than just infidelity. How could it be the same? Once everything was set, it was time to start drinking. For me, the wine went down like cold water. Leo, on the other hand, took a small sip and immediately shuddered violently. This wine? Leo looked puzzled. It's fine, I said. I spent over 1,000 per bottle on it. Elio was reassured by the price. It's good, just has a bit of a hospital taste. After a few rounds, Elio hadn't even finished half a bottle, but was already slurring his words and swaying in his seat. I played along, pretending to be tipsy as well. At this point, Mia suddenly said, Honey, there's something I need to tell you. Go ahead, dear, speak your mind. Cousin is actually in some trouble and came to us for help. Isn't that right, cousin? Mia looked at Leo, who immediately put on a poor show of acting. That's right. Things have been tough lately. I had nowhere else to go and thought of my cousin Mia. He even teared up, whether he got too into character or not. So Mia was suggesting I give money to support this gigolo. Honey, my cousin has been really good to me. He even saved my life when we were kids. When we were 7, we played by the river bank, and I almost drowned after slipping in. Cousin Elio jumped in without hesitation to save me. Well, no problem, I'll help. Tomorrow I'll find Cousin Leo a job. I cut Mia off quickly because her acting was so poor that I feared she might slip up unexpectedly. As soon as they heard about the job, they both started explaining urgently, especially Mia, who was the most anxious. Honey, you misunderstood. Cousin actually wants to borrow some money to get back on his feet. Look at his clothes, all branded. He used to be a successful businessman, just recently fell on hard times. Oh, I see. How much does cousin want to borrow? Mia gave Leo a nudge. Leo gritted his teeth and said, 300,000. Mia looked disappointed. Did she think it wasn't enough? This heartless person, doesn't she know how hard I work every day to earn money? Things are a bit better now with around 10,000 a month coming in, but before, I was really risking my life. Back when we first got married, her expenses were huge. To satisfy her need to keep up with others, I secretly worked as a water ghost for 3 months. This involved diving at construction sites to retrieve drill bits, earning 10,000 if I surfaced alive and 100,000 for my family if I didn't. Several times I almost died. Yet, even then, I named Mia as the beneficiary on my insurance policy, and this is how she repays me. Honey, can you do it? Mia eagerly asked me. I pretended to be drunk and boasted. 300,000 to start over? I'll invest $1 million. They were both stunned and then delighted. Mia was particularly surprised, not expecting I had that much money. But then I dashed their excitement with cold water, saying, the only issue is, I don't have that much liquid cash right now. Here's what we'll do. I have a friend who gives out loans at very low interest for people like us. It's no problem to loan out 500,000 each. I'll take a 500,000 loan in my name, and honey, you can take another 500,000. That should be enough. As soon as they heard loan, their expressions soured. To be precise, they were disappointed. Leo muttered, loans aren't safe, are they? There's nothing unsafe about it. That guy and I grew up together. Cousin, I'm not bragging, but even if you can't repay him, he won't come after you. Our friendship is solid. I'll even guarantee the loan for you. Anyone who's ever taken a loan knows that if the borrower can't repay, the guarantor takes on all the pressure. Elio quickly agreed. Mia's mouth slowly curled into a smile. I kept smiling as well. The fish had bitten. After we had settled the important matters, Leo began to frequently toast me. The guy could hold his liquor and only passed out after finishing the bottle. I helped him to the guest room to rest, and while cleaning up the dishes, Mia told me she felt dizzy and wanted to rest too. I let her go, knowing she would feel dizzy because I had slipped some sleeping pills into her drink. Once I was sure they were both asleep, I sneaked Mia's phone out. I found her chat history with Leo. The messages were explicit. These two had started their affair from the first day, they exchanged money, and even went to a hotel that night. MIA frequently sent provocative photos, and he reciprocated with images of his abs and thighs. There were also numerous hotel room numbers provided by MIA. They had hooked up in hotels at least 10 times in a month. She wasn't practicing yoga to please me. It was always her who was getting satisfied. Grinding my teeth, I took screenshots of all the chat records. Then I stormed into Mia's room and slapped her 5 times hard. She groggily opened her eyes. "What's wrong, honey?" "Nothing, just mosquitoes." She fell back into a deep sleep. I repeated the process in Leo's room, punching him as well. Even after beating them, I didn't feel satisfied. Hitting them while they were half asleep didn't feel fulfilling enough. As I thought it over, an idea struck me. I dragged Leo into our bedroom. After closing the door, I messed up the living room a little, then lay down on the couch. Early the next morning, I gathered my strength, swung my arm wide, and rained slaps on both their faces until they woke up. This time they really woke up. MIA was furious, and Leo was just as angry. They nearly jumped out of bed to fight me. I pointed at Leo and cursed. "You bastard. I was just about to invest $1 million in you, and you do this to me." Leo instantly understood. MIA was also shocked. This wasn't some hotel room they had rented, it was my home. Leo wasn't her lover, he was her cousin. In a dramatic turn to secure my $1 million investment, MIA slapped Leo hard, feigning innocence. She checked under the blanket. "Cousin, how could you do this?" Leo looked utterly regretful. "I drank too much last night. I don't remember how I got here." "Mia, cousin-in-law, please let me explain. I genuinely forgot. Besides, look at my clothes. Clearly nothing happened." I looked at them, seething with rage. After a long pause, I waved my hand dismissively. "Yeah, we did drink a lot last night. Even I ended up sleeping on the couch. Forget it, we're family." MIA and Leo were visibly relieved. After breakfast, Leo left quickly, his face swollen from the slaps. After he left, MIA whispered to me, "Honey, we shouldn't drink like that again." I replied, "Right, next time something worse might happen." Mia added, "So, about the money for cousin, we still need to invest. I think your cousin has potential. If he succeeds, we might even get a share." MIA couldn't hide her happiness and immediately took me out to get a loan. I wasn't lying. I did have a childhood friend who worked in loans. I secretly messaged him last night, asking him to refuse my loan request due to insufficient credit. Even as a guarantor, he should find a way to make them sign and then remove my name. Loan officers know how to handle these things, no need to teach them. My friend asked what was going on, and I honestly told him I had been cheated on and wanted to punish the adulterers. He was furious and promised to handle it. When we went for the loan, Leo came along as well. Upon hearing that my credit was insufficient, MIA was puzzled. "Honey, you've never taken a loan before. How come your credit is bad?" I pretended to be equally perplexed. My friend quickly explained, "Technically, it's not really about credit. It's because he got into a fight a few years ago and had to be disciplined, so the system flags him." MIA nodded suspiciously, as if trying to recall when I had fought. Standing beside us, Leo said disappointedly, "So we can't get the $1 million loan then?" "$1 million? That's easy. Just give me both of your IDs to check." They hesitated, but eventually handed over their IDs. The so-called system easily approved them. My friend said to them, "Each of you can get a limit of $1.5 million. How much do you want to borrow?" $1.5 million? I thought we could only get $500,000. Most people can only get $500,000, but Ben is my buddy, so I can use some channels. Of course the system has to approve it. If Ben doesn't pass, there's nothing I can do. I almost couldn't help but give my friend a thumbs up. That explanation was brilliant. "Why don't we each borrow $500,000? Leo asked Mia. Mia didn't hesitate and nodded. But my friend immediately reminded them. The interest on $500,000 is quite high. It works out that borrowing $1.5 million is actually the best deal, almost like a housing fund loan. But I don't need that much. Leo seemed unsure. After all, who normally has 1.5 million lying around, let alone in loans? Unexpectedly, my friend joked with him. Why are you so afraid? With a guarantor, there's nothing to worry about. Just go for it. Mia, hearing this, also found it reasonable, clearly planning to screw me over. She nudged Leo. Cousin, haven't you always wanted to open a gym? Since my husband supports you, just go for it. Honey, if we borrow 3 million, can you handle it? I pretended to hesitate, rubbing my forehead, and acted like I was making a big decision. I can handle it. Seeing cousin dressed in all those brands, he must have a knack for business. Cousin, don't forget to give me a share of the profits when you make money. With the atmosphere built up, Leo was already riding a tiger, unable to back down. It was clear he was hesitant. Only Mia, blindly in love, believed in her lover's ability without question. She even suggested opening a gym. Gyms often fail, and even selling the equipment later would be tough. But that was perfect for my plan. If they didn't squander the money, my revenge wouldn't be meaningful. Leo finally signed a contract. He and MIA each borrowed 1.5 million. They watched me closely as I signed the guarantor section. After the contract was completed, they carefully reviewed it once more before leaving, satisfied. Later, I secretly asked my friend, who told me the pen I signed with had disappearing ink. That's why he kept reminding me not to press too hard, ostensibly to avoid tearing the paper, but actually to leave no trace. The real show was about to begin. That afternoon after finishing work, I returned home to find Mia was not there. I could guess where she went. I urgently needed to capture evidence of their affair. The more explicit, the stronger the impact of their incestuous betrayal. It would ensure those two scumbags were utterly disgraced. Last night, I secretly installed a hidden app on Mia's phone. Not only could it track her location, but it also led me to eavesdrop. Finding her was easy. She was at a cafe. Mia was indeed discussing opening a gym with Leo. Mia, I think opening a gym is the best option. We should stick to what we know. Leo, cousin Mia, aren't you worried I'll attract more female members as a gym owner? Haha. MIA, I've secured so much money for you. If you mess around again, I'll cut off your manhood. Leo, alright, we'll open a gym then. Honestly, babe, is your husband stupid? He agreed to guarantee a 3 million loan for a distant cousin he's never met. Mia, you don't get it. Ben always does what I say. If he hadn't agreed, I would have thrown a fit, and he would have caved immediately. Trust me, that guy is a fool. He even worked as a water ghost behind my back once. Leo, water ghost? Damn, is he suicidal? Mia, huh? It was all for me. Leo, haha, I almost feel guilty taking advantage of such a good man's wife. Mia, oh please, you can't even walk past a woman without hitting on her. Feeling guilty, are you? Leo, guilt is one thing, but sleeping together is another. Cousin Mia, tonight I want you. MIA. Haha, calling me cousin is quite thrilling. Leo, have you really been with your cousin before? Mia, get lost. Working hard for Mia, only for her to call me a simp. This despicable woman. But now I felt nothing, no anger. I had resolved to ruin their lives. To me, they were just prey, not even human. As I contemplated, Mia's location marker started moving. The next stop was likely a hotel. I initially planned to catch them in the act myself, but reconsidered. If I caught them now, what if they returned the loan money? Then I remembered a platform on the dark web. It had few members, but was full of scandal enthusiasts. To make money, some streamers there even specialized in catching cheaters. They helped those who couldn't personally confront their unfaithful partners by gathering evidence at hotels. I immediately logged onto the platform and found a streamer in our city who specialized in this kind of work, known as Tiger Cub. His fees were steep, $1,000. Of course, I wasn't going to pay out of my own pocket. Instead, I called Mia. Honey, has the money arrived? It just came in this afternoon. Your friend works really fast. Be sure to thank him with a meal sometime. No need to wait. I'm with him right now, but your husband hasn't been paid yet and is a bit strapped for cash. Can you transfer me $1,000 for spending? Mia, acting like a nouveau riche, immediately transferred $1,000 to my account. After the call ended, I confirmed their exact room number through her conversation with the receptionist. In Tiger Cub's live stream, I posted a comment. Got a task. Will you take it? A pair of cousins are in a hotel room. I have the room number. Help me catch them in the act. As soon as I mentioned cousins, The chat exploded with excitement. Even Tiger Cub was impressed. He immediately messaged me privately to confirm the exact address. I just played the role of a viewer, watching Tiger Cub leave his house, drive to the target hotel. I kept reminding him in the chat, "Remember, the footage needs to be clear." Tiger Cub assured me not to doubt his professionalism. Then he asked if I had any special requests. I thought for a moment and realized I did. "When you get in, say this line. Leo, you scumbag. How could you do this to my sister? I'm going to expose you both." As a yoga instructor, Elio had countless female friends. This line would shift all suspicion away from me, placing the blame squarely on Elio. Soon, Tiger Cub arrived at the hotel, standing outside the target room. Just as he was about to enter, I told him to wait. The two inside hadn't started yet. They were probably showering with the water running. Ah, damn, I guessed wrong. I immediately told Tiger Cub to proceed. He borrowed a universal key card from the floor's cleaning lady, swiped it, and kicked the door open, charging in. What followed on the live stream was a chaotic scene. Elio and Mia frantically tried to hide, thinking it was a police raid, diving under the covers. Leo's voice trembled. Who are you?" Tiger Cub, ever the professional, splashed the leftover milk tea on Leo's face, grabbed his clothes and shouted, "You bastard! How could you do this to my sister?" "Who's your sister?" "Wait until I expose you two scumbags." Tiger Cub completed his task flawlessly, and I recorded the entire live stream. "Huh. It's that easy. Mia, who is he? Whose sister did you mess with?" "Leo, I don't know. I haven't been with any other woman recently. Just you." "MIA. Now he's got us on video. If he exposes us, we're done. What if my husband sees it?" "Leo, don't ask me. I'm stressed out too. If your husband sees it, he'll divorce you, and then we can be together happily." The listening device went silent for a while. From a distance, I could tell MIA was tempted. "MIA, then we need to transfer the assets from home quickly, or I'll be left with nothing." "Leo, right. Transfer the assets, and we need to open the gym as soon as possible, leaving him no room to maneuver." I accidentally sped up their plan. My heart was filled with joy, just waiting for them to spend the $3 million quickly. Over the next half-month, MIA often left early and returned late. She was secretive every day and avoided meeting my eyes, guilty as charged. Little did she know that every move she and her lover made was under my control. They rented a large apartment in the city center and were busy with renovations and buying equipment. They even underestimated their budget. After spending all $3 million, they realized it wasn't enough, leaving a large empty space. They thought I was a fool and wanted me to be the guarantor for another loan from my friend. Now I had leverage. I told them frankly that the last $1.5 million each was almost the limit, and I couldn't ask my friend for more favors. Elio was very generous, offering a $10,000 commission on the spot. These two had clearly lost touch with reality after squandering $3 million, thinking $10,000 wasn't much. Their minds were consumed by their business. With the conversation at this point, I had to help them. As a result, they each took out another $500,000 loan, bringing the total to $4 million. In our county, that's enough to buy at least 5 houses. So grandiose, truly impressive. I secretly gave them a thumbs up and then accepted their invitation to visit their gym during its soft opening. I must admit the gym they spent money on was quite nice, but it had very few people, just a handful of women, probably Leo's mistresses. Mia's face was priceless when those women arrived, secretly pinching Leo's waist out of jealousy. Mia could really be called a passionate lover. "Ben, brother-in-law, let's have dinner tonight, and you can give me some feedback on the gym," Leo invited me. I agreed, but strongly suggested bringing those women along to liven things up. Elio was visibly uncomfortable. MIA asked, "Honey, what are you up to?" Those are cousin's friends. Do you have any ideas?" "Of course not, dear. They helped out during the soft opening, and cousin should show some gratitude." We talked privately away from those women. Additionally, MIA kept her distance from Elio in my presence, so the women didn't know each other's identities. I was planning a big show. With things said, a few women willing to go, Elio had no choice but to agree as I was the main investor with the final say. We chose a star-rated hotel, sparing no expense. Our group of 8 ordered a table full of dishes, with the bill likely exceeding $10,000. Such an important occasion definitely called for alcohol. With 8 people drinking, The liquor flowed freely. As the alcohol kicked in, the atmosphere grew lively. The women glanced at each other like a palace drama, seemingly with many hidden thoughts, waiting for the right moment to speak. Elio was smart, constantly talking about his gym, never giving any opportunity for emotional topics. Seeing this wouldn't do, I immediately interjected, "Honey, which one is your cousin's girlfriend?" This statement carried a lot of weight. It not only revealed Mia and Leo's relationship, but also put Elio on the spot. Sure enough, being called cousins in front of many romantic rivals, Mia's face looked terrible. "How should I know? Cousin, you tell us." Mia spoke with emotion. Leo was like sitting on pins and needles. He smiled awkwardly at me. "Brother-in-law, I don't have a girlfriend yet." Slap. A woman in her 30s, blushing, slapped the table and stood up. "Leo, what do you mean? You asked me to play along, and now you say you don't have a girlfriend? What do you take me for? What do you mean? You're his girlfriend." The woman beside her, who had been holding back, finally stood up. "And what's your relationship with Leo?" Since the beginning of the dinner, I noticed these two women didn't get along, always on guard against each other. The fuse finally lit. The other women didn't react as strongly. It was clear they had families and only saw Leo as a plaything. Now, like me, they sat back and watched the show. Sensing the imminent battle, Elio hurried to mediate. "This is a bit complicated. Let's talk about it later and eat first." "Eat your damn food." One woman in her 30s picked up a plate and threw it at Elio. "You bastard. I fed you and took care of you. And this is how you repay me?" The woman beside her wasn't one to back down either, throwing her tea at Elio. "Scumbag." Both women stormed out, but quickly returned. I had uploaded the video of them cheating to Leo's social circle. Elio had his own fitness circle, and I had anonymously joined it using a secondary account through Mia. Since all the money was spent and his mistresses were present, what better time to stir things up? When the women returned, they immediately started fighting with Elio, scratching his face until it looked like a mess. Seeing her lover being attacked, Mia tried to intervene, but the two women turned their attention to her. One grabbed Mia's hair while the other slapped her repeatedly. Their coordination was impressive. Just moments ago they were enemies. "You filthy slut. Seducing your cousin into bed. You worthless whore. How can you commit incest? Are you your mom and your uncle's illegitimate daughter?" The scene turned chaotic, with plates and bowls shattering everywhere, even attracting the attention of the staff outside. The waitstaff yelled for them to stop. I couldn't sit idly by any longer. I seized the moment, stepping in to protect Mia. I pushed her back a bit to create some distance, rubbing my arm. "You got cheated on, and you're still protecting her?" The woman nearly shoved the video in my face. I'm not a great actor, so I yelled, "Bastard." I turned around and swung my arm, slapping my face hard. Honestly, that slap left Mia dizzy, making her collapse into a chair, but I wasn't done. I immediately grabbed a nearby bottle and smashed it over Leo's head. The bottle shattered. Leo clutched his head, crying out, tears and snot streaming down his face. Blood flowed through his fingers. "You two scumbags. Cousins committing incest." "Honey, let me explain." I slapped Mia again. Pointing at her, I said, "Divorce, damn it." Then I kicked Leo to the ground and walked out of the hotel, stepping over him. Once outside the hotel, I waved my arms and danced. Damn, that felt good. Once I got home, I didn't rest. I quickly edited the video of the affair, posing as a third party, and uploaded it online with the title, "Shocking. Cousins from Viridia caught in bed together." As soon as the video was uploaded, major bloggers rushed to repost it. Some even begged for the uncensored original video. The main thing was to keep the hype high. The gossip didn't make it to the trending list, but quickly spread across various short video platforms. Many people recognized Mia and Leo. Among them were a few of my friends, who immediately called to ask what was going on. I told them I had no idea and that I had already decided to divorce Mia. Mia's parents even came to see me that very night. The elderly couple, with tears streaming down their faces, almost knelt before me, trying to atone for their daughter's sins. These two weren't easy to deal with. They had demanded $500,000 as a dowry, and I rarely visited them throughout the year because they never treated me well. Now they were kneeling, begging for my forgiveness. I simply sneered, "Uncle, Auntie, Mia's infidelity means she should leave the marriage with nothing. You should prepare to return that 500,000 dowry to me as soon as possible. The old couple were stunned and at a loss. At that moment, Mia returned, only to face a double assault. Her parents hit and cursed at her, calling her a disgraceful, shameless harlot. They even demanded to know which cousin she was with, as they had no idea. After a night of continuous beatings, Mia's mental state collapsed. She pushed her parents away in a frenzy. I love cheating. I love Leo. Leo is not some cousin. He's my lover. Are you satisfied now? Misfortune has befallen our family. Mia's parents looked like they wanted to die, but Mia remained indifferent, her eyes cold as she looked at me. I deceived you. Let's get a divorce. Of course we're getting divorced. I acted even colder than her. But then I added, return the 500,000 dowry I paid when I married you, without missing a cent. I don't have money right now, but I'll return it when I do. Sign the agreement first. Mia had prepared well. She had already drafted the divorce agreement. I glanced over it. Mia was to leave with nothing, and the 500,000 dowry would be returned later. No problem, so I signed it. Then Mia abandoned her parents and left alone. It puzzled me. Those were her parents, not mine. I promptly kicked them out too. Finally, some peace at home. Mia and Leo, in their foolishness, decided to officially open the gym during such a high-profile scandal. As expected, netizens quickly dug up the affair and organized a boycott. Their painstakingly assembled gym faced a disastrous opening. The scandal was so severe that the landlord preferred to pay a $50,000 penalty to break the lease with them. Mia and Leo even begged the landlord, but he remained unmoved. In the end, less than a month and a half after opening, the gym failed. No one wanted to buy their used equipment, finding it disgusting and tainted. They were left with a $4 million debt. Oh, and my 500,000 dowry. Of course, before the repayment date, Mia didn't contact me. After defaulting, she was warned by my friend and urgently called me. Ben, did you tamper with the contract? No. What contract are you talking about? Stop pretending. The loan contract. You were the guarantor. Why is your name not on it now? Mia, don't falsely accuse me. When was I ever a guarantor? Mia was stunned on the other end of the phone. Ben, you tricked me. Did you plan all this to deceive me? I don't know what you're talking about. Goodbye. I hung up mercilessly. Immediately, I sold my house and moved away. I didn't want this crazy woman bothering me. One bite from her, and I'd be in trouble. But I didn't give up on the 500,000 dowry. I took her to court. Given we had lived together for years, the court awarded me 350,000. I was satisfied with that. It was better than nothing. But the problem was, Mia couldn't pay. They still had the huge loan to repay. I'm a kind person and can't bear to see others suffer. So I bought her parents' house for 350,000. Mia sent her parents to a cheap nursing home. Not long after, I heard that Mia's mom hanged herself, unable to bear the humiliation. Even elderly people nowadays use the internet. Some old men in their 70s and 80s gossip too. Mia's mother couldn't endure the constant teasing about her daughter's scandal. Then her father, driven by grief over his wife's suicide, drowned the gossiper in a toilet. Now he faces life in prison. Mia became an orphan. However, that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the loan. The interest compounded, making it impossible to pay off without significant means. I heard that Mia turned to the sex industry to try and fill the financial hole, but half a month later, she was found dead in the street. The police quickly identified Leo as the prime suspect through their investigation. Leo was arrested, and as Mia's ex-husband, I cooperated with the investigation. In the detention center, I saw Leo. The once vibrant, muscular young man was now emaciated. I offered him a cigarette and asked what happened. He said he became a male escort to make money, but he was victimized and got addicted to drugs. Under the dual pressures, he gave up on life. But before dying, he felt that Mia was to blame for everything and wanted to take her down with him. So that's what led to the events that followed. After hearing this, I found it incredibly satisfying. I gave Leo a big thumbs up. Well done. A man should always seek revenge, just like me.